board is very unusual, and it's very surprising that 4 years has gone this fast. In those 4 years, we've each spent countless hours poring over the different segments of this organization. I've worked shift with bus drivers. I've gone out and talked to the operators. I've talked to the different departments. I've gone out to the maintenance garages. And I think at the end of the day, we are a board unlike any other board that's served here. And what I'm imploring my fellow directors is to do something no other board has done and actually look at the operating budget and not just keep taking it down. With the operating budget as presented, we cannot deliver the scheduled service. It's not service expansion, it's not any investments in additional off-peak, it's just we actually cannot deliver the scheduled service, period. And I feel like we've put the employees in a situation where you're asking them to pull miracles without enough people, without enough resources. And so the thing I want to do this time is the thing I wanted to do last time with the fare increase is actually put it towards the customer experience and improving their experience. So if everyone will indulge me, I have a list of items that I would like staff to come back with in the next 4 weeks to give us a better idea, how can we actually improve service? So the first things I want to talk about are the stations, the employee spaces, and the bus maintenance facilities. I know that we budgeted things for new signs, we budgeted new light fixtures, but we still can't replace the lights that are in there, and we cannot clean our stations. We need to replace the furniture within our stations. We need to replace the furniture within our employee spaces. We need to make those bus maintenance facilities a place where people can work and do their job in a safe and effective manner. We also need to update the wayfinding throughout the entire system. We're going to do it station by station as you're doing other projects, pulling only from capital, but the second that they go to the next station, the wayfinding is completely different. And speaking of the cleaning, we need to clean the elevators. The elevators are disgusting. We have been talking about this for years. We've been talking about the fact that the elevators are not working a lot of the time for years. Why? If you're spending the capital dollars on new light fixtures, why can't we spend the operating dollars to change the lights that we currently have? I think it is embarrassing to go out and ask for a fare increase whenever the stations are in this condition. Dudley Station, for example, is disgusting. It just is. And we have not found a way to clean it. And I don't think that this is okay. And I cannot be part of approving another budget that is going to continue this cycle of underinvestment in operations. Unless you want to have a very real discussion about shrinking our system and figuring out what we can actually provide for that money, then I think we actually need to take the money from the state, take the money and put it in operations. Give us a year to figure out what it actually costs to run this system, because I don't actually think we know. What does it cost to maintain a system that our riders can actually use without being covered in God knows what because we can't clean the stations? The other thing is we have to increase headcount. I don't know how you don't increase headcount on the operating side and then expect us to move all of this capital money. It just doesn't make sense. We can buy a bus, but we can't put anyone behind the wheel of it. It is never going to address the things the public is actually asking for. And the thing is, I've read every letter that was sent to me about the fare increase. I read every tweet. I read every direct message. I went to the open houses. I was here for that hearing. And the thing is, I was listening. And the things they're asking for are so simple. They really are. The rail vision, that's going to be a massive, massive project. Cleaning a station, replacing a bus stop, they're not asking for a whole lot here. They just want their bus to show up, period. And we need to actually address the drop trips. That is something we never want to talk about, but it is a lack of operators, and we drop them. And so what I'm actually asking for is I want to know, what is the head count? What is the timeline? What is the budget to clean these stations? And starting with the largest bus stations, because we spend so much time talking about commuter rail while our bus users are continuing to have a second-class system. The other thing is we need to buy more bus shelters. We need to buy 500 bus shelters, and then whoever wants them first, whatever municipality, developer, fine. We'll pay for them, you put them in, but make a place for people to wait for the bus, because we already know they're waiting plenty of time. And then we use the experience in these first few stations to put together an informed cleaning contract. We went through this before. The cleaning contract does not work, clearly, because our stations are not clean. But how are we supposed to know what it takes to clean them if we've never actually cleaned them? You have to give operations the people to make sure that the stations are clean once you get them there. The other thing is customer experience. I was part of creating that department, and I have to say, I think it was the right thing to do. The frustration is you need to increase the headcount. They have to have a budget for customer communications, customer marketing, and customer advertising. The other thing is they should be building the narrative that we take to the legislator. We've put our elected officials in a position where they have to go to their constituents and be like, listen, we need to give them more money, but none of your service is actually going to change. I don't have to be elected. My job is actually quite simple compared to theirs, but I don't know how you give them the power to push for it on the TNC tax, to push for it on the gas tax when we can't even tell them what you're going to get for it. It's not right, and we cannot continue to do this. The other thing is the Green Line transformation. We hired a Green Line transformation officer. We've talked about the Green Line transformation. I don't actually know what that plan is. It is not clear to me. It's not clear what budget is needed to push forward whatever that plan is, and it's not clear what headcount is needed for that. It's just these projects just continue to float out there in the ether, and that is why the public is so angry. And the Better Bus Project, I think we have 2 unbelievable people working on this, but that, for an entire bus system, is insane. We need a structure. We need to have a clear structure of how this works within this organization. They need bodies. And they need resources, because the fact that we are fighting for dollars for improvements in just the off-peak, even if you implemented most of the improvements, it impacts 9% of the riding public. That's 14,000 people. 14,000 people. That is not enough. They have waited long enough. I am not even asking for an expansion of the system. I'm asking to run the scheduled service. That's it. And on the capital delivery side, if we need to go out and buy these things, what headcount is needed to deliver these projects quicker? We have missed the spending goals every single year. We're shutting down stations, putting people on shuttle buses with no signage about how to use that shuttle bus, yet no one is out there fixing the elevators. We should be working 24 hours a day to prove that we deserve the money that we're getting from the legislature, period. I don't know how we approve a budget that does not take into consideration any of these projects, because these are customer facing. And the customers have not gotten their customer facing projects done. They haven't, and now we are gonna take more money out of their pockets. And for a lot of people, we consider this a moderate increase. There are a significant number of people in the Commonwealth that is not moderate. It just isn't. Because I remember the days of being a young, poor kid, taking the train in Chicago and jumping the turnstiles because I couldn't afford it. I probably owe them a significant amount of money with interest. But the point is, people aren't evading these fares just to evade them. Either the technology is so bad they can't pay us, or they can't afford it. They just can't. And we live in such an inequitable, segregated region, and we are making it worse every time we pass a budget like this. And quite honestly, I can't do this. I can't justify this if we're not going to actually fix the system. And if we're not going to fix the system, and this is exactly what we want to do, then we need to be honest with the public and tell them we cannot provide scheduled service, much less improve anything. You will continue to sit in the same dirty station you have for decades. So I just want to be honest. If we cannot make these changes, then we need to be very clear about that and lay out exactly what the next year is going to look like. But staff, if you cannot answer these questions about these projects, I am not sure what we've been doing for the last 4 years. And so I am more than happy to send this to the advisory board. I trust Paul Regan and his team to take a very good look at this. But before I feel comfortable passing any budget, these questions have to be answered. I have to feel like the operational budget you put together is actually going to operate the system.
Thank you, Director. Well spoken. Well done.